Welcome to the NWI.com Political Roundtable for Thursday, August 29th. I'm Robert Blaskowitz, Assistant Managing Editor of The Times. Joined with me today, our full crew, Doug Ross, Editorial Page Editor of The Times, and Krista Zavanovic, Assistant Managing Editor of The Times. Let's start off talking about kind of the big national news, which is Syria, and what the U.S. is going to do in response to alleged chemical weapons attacks by the Syrian government. We're now have forces kind of maneuvered in place to possibly send cruise missiles into military installations. But there's a lot of questions both about the intelligence surrounding the claims of the chemical weapons use by the government and about kind of what the end game is here and what we're going to accomplish with these attacks.
It reminds me quite a lot of Iraq, where we went in, attacked, and then it was you fix it, you broke it, you broke it, you fix it routine, and we've been there since. It's my concern. I think the first time we went into Iraq, it was because of the invasion into Kuwait, and that I think went well because there was a multinational force built,
And there was a clear objective.
Exactly.
Right. I was just going to say that.
Right. It was to get Iraq out of Kuwait.
Right.
That was the
objective.
It was
a discrete purpose.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it was accomplished. And this, I think, there's a lot of concern about the Benghazi attack and a lot of political ramifications. And I hate to say that this would be a counterattack because of that, plus the chemical attacks. But you have to wonder.
Yeah, and I wonder, it's you're kind of hearing rumblings of opposition, and we had on our website this morning Tammy Duckworth, the Illinois Congresswoman, who is, of course, herself a wounded Iraq veteran, came out in opposition, after going through what she's gone through. She is opposed to the attack, so...
And I do think, not to beat a dead horse, but I think maybe she's coming from the basic common sense, practical understanding that the entire nation is war weary. We're tired of nameless, faceless enemies and flaky objectives and a million different constituencies with different purposes and not really knowing what the clear purpose is and the objective.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that bothers me about this whole the talk. President Obama says the intent is not to remove President Assad from power; it's to punish them. Well, then what? I mean, you launch the missiles. He's still in power. What happens next? I don't understand. I don't know what the end game is here. Or even
if he's removed from power, then what?
Right.
I mean,
it's a very tricky and scary end game, and it's not to say that Americans are happy to see anyone murdered by their own government with chemical gas, but it's a scary end game.
And, the effects we're seeing here are both on the markets. We're seeing our 401ks go down. We're seeing gas prices probably going to go up, with oil prices going up in the now gas prices will probably be back on the rise in the near future. So we'll see. It doesn't seem...
And why have a United Nations if you're not going to unite as a world body and police the world?
Right. Well, let's shift back to Northwest Indiana, and let's talk about a topic that I think has created some interesting stories for us, both in Lake and Porter counties. That's E911. In Lake County, we have the E911 consolidation, and some communities have seen that their share of this, what they're going to have to pay for this consolidation, is pretty high. In Porter County, they're having some issues with needs for equipment upgrades, and they're having to dip into their hospital interest funds for some of that money. So, what do you see first in Lake County, Krista?
Just briefly, I just spoke with Bill Dolan on the phone before we started recording here, and
Bill Dolan's our
Lake County government reporter, and St. John is balking at the amount. And apparently at this most recent meeting this morning was demanding to know where the county got its figures, and the county said from you all. Apparently St. John is one of the communities that has paid very well its dispatchers and 911 people, EMS people, and now they don't want to give that money to the county. And I think that something similar happened in Porter County. They were rather well paid, but then when the municipalities had to give their money to the county, then they wanted to wash their hands of it and say, pay them the minimum amount no, we don't want to give all this money. So that's one piece of the story, that the towns and cities themselves gave the county the figures, so they shouldn't be surprised or balking at them. And the other is that apparently somehow the Times has been interjected into this controversy because some of the municipalities' fire and police chiefs are saying that we have taken sides and reported unfairly that the county should not be going with Motorola but should open for bids. Actually, we really haven't. I work very closely with Bill Dolan. We've worked very hard to be restrained and objective. But it's Dan Repay and Jerry Shub, two of our late commissioners, who have said, we really do want to be more transparent, and we really should open this up for bids, even though the state has approved of Motorola. So that's kind of where we stand now.
And I think sometimes the public kind of confuses and blends different parts of our paper. There's the news stories, the general news stories that are done by Bill Dolan, and then there's columns that are written by our columnists,
and I
which
guess
are
Mark
the opinions.
Chase called for this, and so apparently they think that it's Mark Chase who speaks for the entire paper, and he does not.
Columns, named columns, are the opinions of the columnist. You write a column; it's not. It doesn't stand for anything but your opinion.
Read it tomorrow, exactly.
And then there's our editorials, which are more a consensus opinion of our editorial board, which is listed on the opinion page. So just.
So I think it's a misunderstanding, and basically it's just get it done is what it comes down to.
In Porter County, they're going to be dipping into that hospital money,
right? And this is the money that they got from selling Porter Hospital. So millions and millions and millions of dollars. So they're earning millions in interest on this ginormous nest egg. So they want to tap that. The thing is, they're tapping the nest egg for that, and I'm not saying it's bad, but they really don't have a great procedure in place other than to say we need to get a consensus to tap the interest and unanimity between the commissioners and the council to tap the principal. But they really don't have a good solid plan for so
like
what
a general
types of
overall
projects.
protocol.
Exactly. So it's just like
go on a retreat and sit down and think about, look at 10 years into the future.
What's our strategic plan?
Right, exactly.
And to jump into our next subject, another budgetary item that the Porter County Council is facing is the needs of the jail, and these increasing complaints about overcrowding at the jail, about excessive heat at the jail, and the need to open this third pod that has been closed, and the personnel that's going to take. So where do you see that going?
Well, I see there are one or two things that are going to move them along. Well, three things. One is they could just do the right thing after several years of Sheriff David Lane complaining we need to open the third unit, which they basically stripped to the unit of usable parts. So so they're going to have to replace all that.
The new jail was built with basically three wings, three pods,
exactly.
And they when they opened it, they opened two of them. They kept the third one for future needs, and that has never been
future
opened.
Came quickly. Is the problem, and there's equipping it again, and then they're staffing it, and that's going to be the real battle because that's going to cost some money. But if they don't do it on their own, they're going to get the American Civil Liberties Union, which seems on the verge of filing suit.
I was just going to ask you, the DOJ might be knocking on their door as it did in Lake County.
Right. So it's pay now or pay later.
Right, exactly.
And the ACLU has gotten very litigious this year. New leadership and so forth. So, just today they announced that there was a lawsuit being filed on behalf of a 12-year-old girl in Winnemac who wants to join the football team at the middle school there. So, there's, whether you agree with the lawsuit or not, it adds up and it'll force you to do the thing. I think there's a lot of people who think, why don't we just cram them into two pods? The reason is you're not punishing them, but changing their behavior. We have an Indiana Department of Correction, for example. We don't have an Indiana Department of Punishment. And so you want them to behave well, and part of behaving well is you treat them humanely, not overly generous.
Yeah,
but
and when you have overcrowded conditions, you open the possibility for disease, for the medical
Violence,
issues,
exactly.
violence that will end up costing the county because
Right.
then they have to treat these inmates as well.
Right.
Right, and the
medically.
added cost of litigation, which people don't
Yeah.
think about. Lake County has high costs because of people who have sued the county over the jail issues. So it just doesn't.
So you
make
have the
sense.
cost of the litigation on top of the cost
Right.
of doing the
Right.
right thing in the first place.
Right.
So.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week with another political roundtable.